Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Neil Haley Show. The Neil Haley Show is heard all over the world on television and radio, and we interview celebrities, authors, educators, businesses, and brands, either in Bethel Park's TV studios or on location all over the world, on the radio and on the phone. So check it out and enjoy the show today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at TotalTutor and NeilHaley.com. And I'm excited to welcome the program my co-host, Peter Elvidge. And we're recording a lot of simulcast TV, radio today. Can you believe it's almost summertime, Peter?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's almost summertime, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also looking forward to this set of interviews today. It's gonna be awesome.
Yep, and as you know how this business works, we're just waiting on the first caller to call in, and sometimes they call in a little late on certain things. So I wanted to talk about something, Peter, that just for people to understand what's happening with you now. Since the last time I interviewed you, you've really made some changes in your life. Give us an update on what's going on there.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of growth in the network, the First Experience Network. There's also been some new opportunities. I'm going to be teaching here in the state of Minnesota in a little bit, coming August, on Intro to Blindness and Visual Impairment. So that's going to be something new. And I'm also making different sets of videos and content available on YouTube and online as well. So amongst those opportunities, there's also been some other work that I've been doing with the Minnesota Historical Society, and there's just been tons of stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the really cool thing, that what's happening with you, Peter, is the teacher end of thing. When we met, you were an educator in a way that you liked to educate people, but now getting the opportunity to really step out of your comfort zone and teach many people, it's got to be exciting for you.
Oh, definitely. Well, and the thing is I was, at first, because everyone's been telling me, you'd be great as a teacher. And I'm just like, are you sure? Yeah, you'd be great as a teacher. So I'm like, well, let's try it out.
Exactly. So tell us what class you'll be teaching very soon.
Yeah, so it'll be Intro to Blindness and Visual Impairment, basically. I'm still in the creation and kind of like creating the flow of the class, but basically the idea is kind of giving a kind of just a rush course of what it means to have blindness and visual impairment. Part of it being that it's connected to the historical society is explaining like how things are accessible, kind of like an example of kind of like a quick rough example of life as someone with blindness visual impairment.
Oh, wow.
So, and I have a fun experiment which I'm going to do with blindfolds. I'm going to have some volunteers, and I'm going to blindfold them and give them different scenarios to kind of try out, and it's interesting.
Exactly. And so I think it's very interesting in the fact that what you deal with every day. Later today on the radio/television network, we're going to have someone that is hearing impaired and learn about his business and what's happening with innovations. But yourself going through what you have gone through, from partially blind to almost completely blind now, that's a hard transition for you, especially how visual a person you were.
Yeah, it definitely bites, but at the same time, I'm like, it's in a weird way, it motivates you to be like, I still love what I want, what I do, and I'm going to figure out a way around this, and I'm going to figure out a way through it. And it's really hard to explain, kind of like outside of being in the situation, but that's just like the general idea. Is I love art so much, I'm still figuring different ways and creating actual programs to do my art completely non-visual. I'm still creating pixel art pieces that are small and, progressing to larger sizes is my plan coming up.
So you still can see some, and you're learning through numbers and specific ways. I think our listeners out there to understand, once you hardly can see, it's pretty much you have to learn code in your mind in certain ways to figure things out, especially when you're talking about the digital world, right? Explain that to people.
Well, so when you have low vision or you're completely blind, you use these things called screen readers. And basically screen readers will allow you to manipulate and view different text, different web pages, all these different things. In my aspect for my art, I've had previous experiences with color, I've had previous experiences with RGB code, which is why I'm still able to view the art that I do, because I'm using RGB code as well as the designations of the colors to do different things. But with screen readers, so you can, that's how I do all my stuff, whether it be on mobile, on the phones, on the iPad, on a computer. It's just, it's really interesting. And then kind of branching out from there, there are different devices, that will designate colors for you, designate money for you. And it's just,
and it's
incredible height.
So Peter, it's through touch? Is it through touch, Peter?
So primarily without technology, learning-wise is by touch, at least in my personal realm of things. It goes from touch and then it goes to hearing, because touch is kind of centralizing yourself in your world. Like if you're just sitting and you're not touching anything, you get disoriented. And the hearing part of it is, also another way of kind of designating where you are in the world. Because obviously, if you have low vision or you're completely blind, and this is even true for people who have had blindness ever since they were born, you get disoriented or you can feel lost at times without kind of having a benchmark as to where you are in the world, so to speak.
So that's interesting to talk about voice. A lot of people when they think of a blind person, they think about Braille, right? They think about everything that they have to do has to be involving touch. But you're saying now with the way technology has changed and that it's a lot to do with hearing as well then, right?
Yeah, well, you see, because back then, we didn't have, really advanced screen readers. There would be tons of things that would be inaccessible besides basic text files. And now that screen readers have enhanced so much, we can have them on the mobile, we can have them on the desktop. And it's really, it really depends on the person. But like I said, my realm, I like touch and then hearing. But it's kind of finding that balance right now. But it is changing. Like when people think of blindness or visual impairment, they kind of think of Braille or they think of the white cane, and they don't really necessarily know about, screen readers or different technologies that are out there. And then when they learn about them, or learn about someone who's doing impossible things, that's what I want to do. Is I want to educate people on those particular technologies, because it's
explain. See, I might have not understood what, Peter, a screen reader is. Explain that to our listeners out there and viewers.
Yeah. So think of it like this. So a screen reader is like if you have a text document in front of you. Let's say you have like an essay that you're reading or writing, one of the two. The screen reader will basically analyze that text document, and you can either have it read to you auditorily by paragraph or by its total encompassing text. There's also numerous different settings that with screen readers, because screen readers are also visual as well as auditory, because they give also like color contrast features. They give speed of the text rate that you hear it at or you read at. Also with screen readers, they will allow you to highlight words while you're reading. So if you're slightly visual and then you're hearing it auditory wise, you can do it that way as well. A lot of stuff for people with dyslexia also use screen readers and different types of screen reading technologies. So, and you can do this with PDFs. You can do it with emails. You can do it with web pages.
So it's somebody speaking. So Peter, for layman's terms, it's someone. So for example, if you're reading an email it's reading it for you then, correct?
Yep. So basically Screen Reader is a program that creates a computer-generated voice for you that reads whatever text you're looking at, whether it be an email or a text document. It'll read it to you, so then if you can't either physically read it with with paper, you can use it that way to access your different types of work-related tasks or different types of information.
That's so cool. I mean, I think it really helps. And this technology was not around 20 years ago, was it?
No, and that's why like when people think of blindness or visual impairment, they think of Braille and they think of white cane, and that's that's true. But with the evolution of things, not only from the standpoint of people consuming information with technology, it's also made people able to do incredible things like sports
absolutely.
or be an artist, and it's just crazy. And the thing is too, if you guys are interested, with screen readers, they have these things called Braille displays, and Braille displays connect to your device via Bluetooth. Wow. Braille displays will allow you to feel the Braille, so that instead of using a screen reader, whatever text is on your screen, it gets translated into Braille into this device, and then you can touch it instead. So it really depends on your personal preference for consuming information and learning.
Well, I'm really glad I got to catch up with you. And it was, again, an impromptu interview. But I told you, when you go live, you never know what you're going to do in a crazy day like this. And who knows what else. And that's why I have you along on this ride, so that we can continue to give a simulcast broadcast via TV and radio. But Peter, where's the best place we can find information on you and your social networks and all those different things? This is your opportunity to promote. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page, Perseverance Network. We have a Twitter account. It's at Peter Elvidge Perseverance Network, or PE Promotions. Our YouTube channel is Peter Elvidge or Perseverance Network. And those are the primary places that are updated daily. So I encourage you guys to go check those out. And there are many other networks you guys can branch out from many networks.
Awesome. It's amazing to see the growth of what you've been doing, Peter. I'm so glad you're teaching and you're educating people about blindness and visual impairment. It's a perfect theme for today. When guests don't show up, they miss out. And I understand that, because I've forgotten once for a guest or didn't record things out of. How many people do you think I've interviewed, Peter, in my career? I'd say 5,000 plus or more. But it's a lot of fun, and it's fun learning, and I have more things to follow up with you and catch up with you if we have another no-show. But take care, and I look forward to our next guest coming on soon. You're watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment, and some more exciting guests. Make sure you check out Peter and all of his amazing things, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins.
Go Ben! Sid, it's my boy.
Way to go.
Yeah, let's go Ben!
Tip your hat for me so that everybody in Bethel Park can take a look at that.
We're calling you to get to this point. Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do it without you. That Game 5 is something I think we'll all remember. So thanks for all your support. Thanks for showing up today.
Thanks. Another win, bringing it home. We're really hoping for the triple. We want to be the first team to do that. It'll be great.
Hi, everyone, and we're back to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at TotalTutor and NeilHaley.com, and I have my co-host Peter Elvidge on the line. And Peter definitely educated us so far in this process of blindness and visual impairment, but for our listeners to understand that you have gone through some medical issues since the last time we chatted as well. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so I have two conditions. One is called glaucoma, which deals with eye pressure, and the other one is called cone rod dystrophy, which deals with the stem cells, cones and rods that take in your light and color reception into your eyes. And unfortunately, there has been some degeneration in the cones and rod cells, as well as some progression of glaucoma. So my vision has changed since we last talked, but it has not stopped me from doing the things that I love and keeping as active as humanly possible.
And this is explain the difference in your vision, that certain things you couldn't do anymore, and it was so abrupt. You were expecting it, but yet it happened. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so to give kind of a good idea for those, kind of a visual difference. So when we last talked, I had the ability to view different text files or websites and things like that, as well as different photos. If I would enlarge them to a certain point, it would be rather huge for me. So I'd say I think it was probably like 60 or so point font, and I think like image sizes can vary depending on, but ever since the change, I have not been able to read. I cannot read print at all visually. Mm-hmm. I cannot see images visually at all. Basically, the idea of how I see things currently is if, like, the best way that I can explain is if you took like a few Ziploc bags and you layered them and then you put them in front of your eyes, and you try looking around and kind of understanding, your text or your computer or whatever it is. That's kind of the generalized of how I see things. But also, I do not have color perception in any shape or form. I'm grayscale colorblind, so everything that I perceive is black or white. I did have this for a while at the beginning, of the year, but with the degeneration of the cones and rods, it kind of has changed contrast. So when I'm in dark places, I can't see. When I'm in light places, it might be really bright. It's really an interesting kind of thing with all of the different adjustments in genetics and things that I've been going through.
All right, my producer informed me that the guest was on the line and it just dropped, so we'll continue our conversation. They must have been confused to understand if we're on time, we show up on time for interviews. I mean, Peter, that's an absolute no-no. We have lined up, and always when we do the TV tapings here at Bethel Park, about 15 different guests, and if you don't show up, I'm telling you, my email box, it blows up with 1,000 people. But back to this conversation, It's very, very interesting. How did it make you feel? I mean, the Word Perseverance Network really defines what you're doing. I keep telling people, I have someone working for me. Well, he's blindness and visual impairment. What are you talking about? He's going blind. And a lot of people couldn't imagine the things that you do for me every day. And they would think, oh, how can this person be able to do that? Because again, they're not educated. But how have you persevered through? You talked about this just abruptly happening to you. How are you persevering through?
Yeah, well, and like I said, to even remotely get to the mindset that I'm at, it took long time and long, just kind of looking at myself. Obviously I had my period of time where I was down. I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for a job, my future, all this different stuff. Because right when it was about 7 years ago when all this started, I was going to college. I was going for graphic design and arts, and all of a sudden everything just went to a halt. And and I had a long time where it was just, like I said, it was down. I kind of had to get through that, and of course everybody, does. But I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to experiment. I'm going to try to do some some art, because I want to try to do it again. I still have a little bit of vision. Why not? And I basically took the longest days and nights looking at YouTube, looking online, and everything like that, learning about what pixel art is. And because I figured out how to do that, because I figured out how to do my art again, I'm like, you know what? I got to keep going.
Yes.
It was such a triumph getting my first piece done. And after that, it was progressive things after that, like reading documents or,
absolutely.
And the good thing is that this transition was not as horrific as it could be, because I do have previous training experiences to build off of. But, it's been a ride, but I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hard times, I've developed a great mindset.
So what advice would you have for somebody that has your disability? How can they persevere through this to show, and then we'll explain some of the things that you do for me on a regular basis and other clients. Explain to me how they're able to, how other people can get through this. Because again, this does not mean a death sentence. This does not mean, even if you're born with this, it does not mean a death sentence. That you can be very productive in society, be very successful, and really transform people's lives. So tell us specifically enough, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, the advice I would give to someone who's going through what I'm going through is, for one, you're going to have your bad days. And as unfortunate as it is, you're going to have to kind of go through those. But every bad day, there's at least 2 good days. Okay. And the thing is that when your vision changes, it doesn't mean that you physically yourself have to change. Okay.
Exactly.
Just because your vision changes, it doesn't mean that that you can't still do things. I know incredible people that do, people ask, how do you snowboard when you're totally blind? And yet there's tons of people who do it. How do you do art despite your blindness? And particularly in that aspect, for those who are artists, bow blind, I would recommend you guys going and doing a touch tour at a local art museum, because that ultimately changed things for me, because it allowed me to kind of get a new perspective of that there's a lot out there that you can do non-visually. And the thing is that, you want to do certain things. You want to achieve certain paths, right? But the only way you're going to be able to do that is to get up, because when you get knocked down, you got to keep getting up. You got to keep getting up, because if you get knocked down, let's say to eat, right? To eat, you got to find the fridge. After you find the fridge, you got to figure out what food you have,
Right.
It's all these, even the little triumphs are important. So even if you think something is insignificant at times, like, I grabbed something to eat, that's a huge triumph, because you figured out how to do something non-visually or with little vision,
So tell us on a regular basis what you do for me and other clients, so that people can understand that they too can, even if they are going through challenges, they can be very productive.
Yeah, so I do a whole ton of stuff. I post on multiple social media networks, both with images, text, hashtags, links, all these different things. I also make and create my own YouTube videos, as well as videos for different clients. I do audio editing as well as video manipulation if I need to, for any changes visually. I do the changes for videos, just so you guys are well aware. I have special templates that I've created where I use measurements on a Photoshop grid to do adjustments if I need to, non-visually. Including that, it's, doing emails, reading documents and information. It's a whole ton of stuff.
Exactly,
And a lot of people, I understand that people are like, how does he do it? And the truth is you just do it. When you get to a certain point, like I said, when I got to a certain point in my mindset, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to learn how to do it. I might not know how to do it at first, but I'm going to learn how to do it, because it's important to me, or it's something I want to learn to better myself, and that's another thing is that I would recommend to everyone is learn something new every day.
Yes.
Whether it be little, medium, big,
Exactly.
it's important because you never know what you might learn could be your foot in the door somewhere.
That's such an never stop learning, and that's what's so important about the Total Education Network, Neil Haley Show, and all that is that we never stop learning. We always, if you can't figure out something, go out and find it out and do it. Don't be afraid to make that phone call. Don't be afraid to try something new. And with lots of things on the internet, you can figure out a lot of things very quickly that you could not do before. And I think that's the amazing thing is right now we're recording for television, yet we're streaming live on my website at neilhaley.com. And then we already will have a radio show produced and a television show produced. And we'll be able to tweet out social media the heck out of it later today. And then when we're in the car, for example, how would you have time to do 5 hours of TV or 3.5, whatever, I've lost track today, but meaning probably close to 4. And then you have the meeting, and then you have a tutoring session, and your day's ended. How did you get your social media posted? Well, it's all scheduled. So I scheduled everything for the whole day, and all my clients' stuff is going out scheduled throughout the day. And you learn new things. You learn how you can take care of things and still be able to do many things that you enjoy. Again, we could check you out on the Perseverance Network. All the different social media channels, right? Tell us the best places to find you again, Peter.
Yeah, it's at Peter Eldridge is my primary for Twitter, or there's at Perseverance Network or PE Promotions is the 3 Twitter networks. YouTube is Peter Eldridge or Perseverance Network. Facebook, we have a page called the Perseverance Network, and another important one is Instagram, which is the Perseverance Network as well, and that is growing to incredible numbers as well. So I encourage you guys to go check out all those networks for great content.
You're fabulous, Peter. And I think it really will relate to the episodes for this season. If I consider this a season on the Neil Haley Show on BPTV and also all over the world, is that we've learned about blindness and visual impairment. We're going to learn about hearing impaired. And our guests will have an interpreter on. And we'll be talking autism today. So a lot of fabulous things. I think you fit into the theme far better than the guests that no-showed me today. And I had never had 2 in a row, but I guess it's a good thing because you have a larger following and you'll get it out there and you'll really educate people with this podcast and video for people to learn more about you. So and so everything works out for a reason. So take care, Peter, and we'll talk soon. All right, take care, Peter. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show and watching the Neil Haley Show simulcasted. And thanks for watching this week. And we'll be on next week with some more great guests. Fantastic. Check us out, neilhaley.com and all those exciting places. Take care, everyone.
Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable, and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV.